Welcome to Recap King. In this video, we will explain Kingsman, the Golden Circle. This movie tells the story after the Kingsman's headquarters are destroyed and the world is held hostage. An allied spy organization in the United States is discovered. These two elite secret organizations must band together to defeat a common enemy. Can the trained secret agent save the world a second time? Let's find out in Kingsman, the Golden Circle. Kingsman, the Golden Circle begins a year after Eggsy defeated Richmond Valentine and has officially joined Kingsman. Eggsy now has the codename Galahad, which he took from his late mentor Harry Hart, whom he greatly respected and lived in Harry's old house and dating Tilda, the crown princess of Sweden, whom he saved from Valentine. One night, while on his way home from the tailor shop, Eggsy was ambushed by Charlie Hesketh, a rejected Kingsman applicant, who lost his right arm and vocal cords during the Valentine incident. Eggsy tries to avoid Charlie and his henchmen in a car chase across the streets of London. Knowing Eggsy is being pressed, Merlin then directs Eggsy to head to the city park, where he can freely blow up the car of Charlie's henchmen. Because of the incident, Eggsy also gets into another problem with the appearance of the police. Merlin then tells Eggsy to throw the car into the lake and directs him into Kingsman's secret underwater bunker. Because Eggsy had a date with his girlfriend, he rushed out of there, even though he had to go through a very dirty and smelly sewer. However, unbeknownst to Eggsy and Merlin, Charlie's cybernetic arm, which was severed in their previous battle during a street chase, then hacks into the Kingsman server via the computer in Eggsy's car. After meeting his girlfriend, Eggsy then changes clothes and goes to his friend Brandon's house to attend a party and leave his dog with Brandon, because he has to go to Sweden for dinner with the Tilda's family. Meanwhile, on a plateau surrounded by wilderness, a woman named Poppy Adams is seen having a casual conversation with two men. Poppy looks like a friendly and smiling woman, but she is actually the leader of the largest drug cartel in the world, namely the Golden Circle. Their minions all have trademark gold circle tattoos on their bodies. The two men in front of her were her minions and her potential minions, which she tried to remind them of the importance of obeying her orders. Calmly, Poppy asked the would-be henchman, whose name was Angel, to put his partner, Charles, into the meat grinder. Angel looked doubtful, and Charles then tried to run away, but he was blocked by Poppy's robot dog. Angel finally obeys Poppy's orders, sacrificing his own friend. Seeing Angel's sincerity in joining the cartel, Poppy then ordered him to go to the salon in front of the restaurant. The next day, Eggsy attends a meeting with Arthur, Roxy, and Merlin, and other Kingsman agents throughout Great Britain who are present virtually. They discuss Charlie's attack last night, where Merlin reveals that Charlie survived Valentine's explosion because the chip in his head was damaged when Eggsy electrocuted him. It is known that Charlie is now working for a criminal organization. When viewed from the bodies of Charlie's henchmen who were autopsied, Roxy reveals that they have something in common. Their fingerprints are removed, their teeth are grinded and trimmed, and one part of their body has a gold circle tattoo. Merlin and Roxy will investigate the matter, while Eggsy will fly to Sweden for dinner with the Swedish royal family. Meanwhile elsewhere, Angel walks into Poppy's salon, where his fingerprints are removed, his teeth grinded and trimmed, and then a robot draws a gold circle tattoo on his body. After that, Angel returns to the restaurant, where Poppy tells him to eat a hamburger whose meat is made from Charles' meat which has been ground up before. Angel couldn't help but devour his hamburger so that he could be officially accepted as part of the Golden Circle. At the royal court of Sweden, Eggsy was having dinner with the king and the empress, who were none other than Tilda's parents. With the help of Roxy through her sophisticated glasses, Eggsy can easily answer the king's questions regarding economic, social, political, and other issues. However, at the same time, after obtaining information from Kingsman's hacked computer, Poppy then launches a cruise missile that destroys Kingsman's headquarters in London and kills Arthur and all Kingsman agents throughout Great Britain, including Eggsy's best friend Roxy, and also his friend Brandon, who was at his house at the time looking after the dog. Because Charlie succeeded in carrying out his mission, Poppy then gave Charlie a new, more powerful, and sophisticated cybernetic arm. After returning to London, Eggsy meets with Merlin, who is alive because his home address was not entered into the Kingsman data center. Merlin also informs that all Kingsman bases have been destroyed and agents have died, including Roxy and Arthur, and all because Charlie's cybernetic arm has hacked Kingsman's server in Eggsy's car. By following an emergency doomsday protocol, Eggsy and Merlin then contacted Statesman, the American partner of Kingsman, who used the Kentucky-based bourbon whiskey business as a cover. The two had an argument with a man nicknamed Tequila, who didn't know of the Kingsmen and thought they were intruders, until finally a woman nicknamed Ginger Ale came and told her partner that Eggsy and Merlin were Kingsman agents from England who were Statesman's allies. After the misunderstanding was corrected, Eggsy and Merlin then met Harry, who was still alive and had been under the supervision of the Statesman. They just found out that Harry managed to survive the shooting by Valentine thanks to the Statesman's advanced technology. But even though his life is saved, Harry has amnesia that can only be cured by reliving the traumatic event. Ginger Ale hopes that having Eggsy and Merlin by his side, Harry can remember his true identity as a Kingsman agent. Eggsy and Tequila then meet the Statesman leader nicknamed Champagne, where he then offers his organization's support to help Eggsy take down the Golden Circle that had destroyed the Kingsman. Eggsy manages to track down Charlie's frequent contact with his ex-girlfriend, Clara, so he intends to approach Clara to find information about Charlie and the Golden Circle. Because Tequila showed a strange condition at that meeting, namely blue rashes that began to spread on his body and appeared to be maniac, he was then replaced by another agent, a man nicknamed Whiskey, who would be Eggsy's partner in carrying out his mission this time. Elsewhere, Merlin tries to cure Harry's amnesia by flooding his room, reflecting elements of Kingsman agent training that Harry might remember, but that fails. Meanwhile, Poppy and Charlie are seen entering a concert hall at Poppy's secret headquarters. Poppy has kidnapped a famous singer, Elton John, and forced him to sing, entertaining her every day. But that night, Poppy noticed the appearance of blue rashes that spread across Elton's body, which were symptoms after taking her drugs. Poppy then asked him where he got his drugs from, and Elton replied that he got them from Angel. After saying goodbye to Tilda, who gave him a dog in exchange for his dead dog, Eggsy rushed off to the Glastonbury Festival with Whiskey because Clara was sure to attend the event. Arriving at the festival, Eggsy manages to attract Clara's attention. But at the same time, he then realized that many of the Glastonbury Festival visitors had symptoms of a blue rash on their bodies like Tequila. After Merlin checked this, it turned out that the blue rash symptoms were experienced not only by people at the Glastonbury Festival but also throughout the world and became a trending topic on social media. Because Angel was caught taking his drugs and giving them to Elton, which is strictly prohibited for all henchmen working for Poppy, she ordered her robot dogs to attack Angel, killing him. But when the dogs ran to Elton, who was sitting pensively watching Angel's death, they didn't attack the man because he wasn't programmed to kill Elton. Meanwhile, Eggsy and Clara head to a tent at the festival. Eggsy plants a tracking device in Clara during a sexual encounter, but is estranged from Tilda after telling her what he must do. After carrying out his mission, Eggsy tried to contact Tilda to apologize and explain, but Tilda didn't answer the phone. On the other hand, Tilda appears to be taking drugs because she is angry and disappointed with Eggsy. Eggsy then returns to Statesman headquarters and finally manages to restore Harry's memory by threatening to shoot a Cairn Terrier puppy resembling Harry's dog, Mr. Pickle, causing Harry to relive memories of his Kingsman training final exam where he was ordered to shoot the dog. After his memory returns, Harry recognizes Eggsy and Merlin again, where they celebrate Harry's memory return by going to a bar with Whiskey. Harry briefly clashed with some of the thugs there and realized that his powers had not yet fully recovered, so Whiskey had to step in to help him. At the same time, Poppy broadcasts a message via television broadcast around the world, announcing that she has added poison to all kinds of drugs she makes, which will cause the drug user to develop blue rash symptoms and act as a maniac as Tequila, before eventually experiencing paralysis and death. Poppy then offers the antidote to the world if the President of the United States is willing to end the war on drugs, and grant impunity to her and her cartel, the Golden Circle. Suddenly everyone panicked, especially since most of them had experienced the second phase. The President of the United States openly wants to negotiate with Poppy. Still, he secretly intends to let the infected die, regardless of those taking drugs as therapy or young people just experimenting. The President intends to eliminate all drug users in the United States and render Poppy's business useless. It turned out that the conversation had been intercepted by the Statesman, and Champagne was very upset to hear that because many people were victims. Ginger Ale then informed that Clara was also infected with the poison and contacted Charlie. Charlie then asked her to go to the Golden Circle facility located in the Alps in Italy. Harry, Eggsy, and Whiskey then rush over there, where Eggsy manages to steal one of the antidote samples, only to be caught by Clara, who recognizes him. An enraged Charlie then orders his henchmen to go after Eggsy and his companions. Eggsy, Harry, and Whiskey make it to a cabin at the foot of the mountains. Still, Whiskey accidentally destroys a vial of the antidote sample when they are attacked by the Golden Circle's henchmen, leading Harry to suspect Whiskey of being a traitor and deliberately violating the sample. Harry then shoots Whiskey in the head, but Eggsy, believing Harry to be delusional due to his immature brain recovery, saves Whiskey with the same technology the Statesman used to save Harry. After successfully disabling all of the Golden Circle's henchmen, Eggsy reports that Whiskey was shot by the enemy to protect Harry. On the other hand, Charlie kills Clara by destroying the facility to prevent Eggsy's further sampling attempts and leaving any traces behind. Meanwhile, at the White House, after learning that his chief of staff was also experiencing symptoms of a blue rash, the president then ordered his troops to quarantine the woman in a stadium, along with the many other victims, and let them die there. Upon returning to Statesman headquarters, Eggsy receives a video call from a panicked Tilda which shows that she is also experiencing symptoms of a blue rash from smoking marijuana in a depressive state. After that, Eggsy, Harry, and Merlin finally manage to find Poppy's hiding location in Cambodia, Poppy Land, and rush to fly there. While stalking Poppy Land, Eggsy accidentally steps on a landmine, but Merlin sacrifices himself to save him and Harry. Merlin then distracts Poppy's guards by singing her favorite song, and when they all get close, Merlin blows himself up. After paying their last respects to Merlin, Eggsy and Harry immediately storm Poppy's base, where they manage to kill all the guards they encountered with solid cooperation. Eggsy then battles Charlie, who has grown stronger after gaining a new cybernetic arm, while Harry has to face off against Poppy's 2 robot dogs. With the help of Elton John, Harry manages to destroy one of the robot dogs and melt the other robot dog with a hot golden liquid. Eggsy finally manages to kill Charlie in revenge for his comrades who died. After that, Eggsy and Harry then secure Poppy's laptop, which controls a drone that can distribute the antidote throughout the world. Eggsy then injects Poppy with a concentrated dose of her poison with heroin to dull her senses and catch her off guard. A delirious Poppy then gives them the password to her laptop so the antidote can be immediately circulated worldwide, saving everyone, with Poppy eventually dying of an accidental overdose. However, before they can enter the code, Whiskey arrives and threatens them, revealing that his pregnant wife was killed in a robbery carried out by 2 drug users last year, which causes him to develop a personal grudge against all drug users, and he wants them to be dead. Furthermore, with eliminating all drugs, people would be much more dependent on alcohol, which allowed him to make a huge profit from his stake in Statesman whiskey. A fierce battle between the trained agents was inevitable, until Harry and Eggsy finally managed to drop whiskey into Poppy's meat grinder. They then activate the drone, deliver the antidote to the whole world, and save everyone, including Tequila and Tilda. After the incident, the President of the United States was impeached and arrested for conspiring to let the victims die. Statesman then purchased a distillery in Scotland to help rebuild Kingsman. Statesman tech support specialist, Ginger Ale, was then appointed as the new whiskey agent. The film concludes with Eggsy eventually marrying Tilda, and a recovered Tequila joining Kingsman, who acquires a new tailor shop in London. The moral message of this film is, never to ever use drugs, because it does not bring any benefit and will actually harm ourselves and others.